Hi, my name is Traditional Dating, and I'm here to tell you that I'm dead. I know it's hard to believe. I was once the king of the dating world, but things have changed and I'm no longer relevant. Anyway, guys, it's raw truth time. I'm going to tell you why men aren't approaching women anymore. The first problem is that men have become too lazy to pursue women anymore. They would rather just sit at home and swipe through Tinder instead of going out and actually meeting women. And as a result, their dating life suffers. They never get to experience the joys of a real relationship because they're too busy swiping left and right. It's time for men to step up their game and start putting in the effort. I'm not saying women are worth it. In this modern world, socializing is key and a must-have skill for alpha males. So I'll say women are worth going out to meet instead of just swiping right on Tinder. Men need to put some effort into it and stop online dating. Hey gents, in today's video, we're going to be talking about how modern women have destroyed good men in today's society. If you're a good man, you're probably used to being manipulated by women. You're the nice guy who always ends up getting taken advantage of, while the bad boys get all the girls. It sucks and it's not fair, but there's a reason why this happens, and once you understand it, you can start to turn the tables. Women are emotional creatures, and they're very good at manipulating men with their emotions. They know how to push your buttons and get you to do what they want. And if you're not careful, you'll end up doing things that you don't really want to do, just to make them happy. The key is to be aware of this emotional manipulation and to know how to deal with it. There are certain techniques that you can use to diffuse their emotional manipulation tactics, and I'm going to share some of them with you in this video. First, let's start with a definition. Emotional manipulation is when someone uses your emotions to control you. They do this by playing on your fears, vulnerabilities, and insecurities to get what they want from you. This can be done through gaslighting, guilt trips, love bombing, silent treatment, and many other tactics. Now that we know what emotional manipulation is, let's talk about how to deal with it. The first step is to recognize when it's happening. Pay attention to the way the person makes you feel. If you often find yourself feeling confused or upset after interacting with them, they may be manipulating you. If you're in a similar situation, don't despair. There are ways to tell if your girlfriend is using you for your money. Pay attention to how she talks about money. Does she seem obsessed with it? Does she always ask you for loans or gifts? If so, then there's a good chance that she's only interested in your money. Another red flag is if she constantly wants to go out shopping or dining at expensive restaurants. Does she never offer to pay? If these things sound familiar, I think it's time to go your way. Number 1, set boundaries with the manipulator. Make it clear what behavior is acceptable and what isn't. If the boundary pushing continues, consider pulling away from the woman completely. Set boundaries and stick to them. If she can't respect your boundaries, then it's time to move on. Make sure your communication is clear and concise. Don't give them any room for interpretation. If your communication is clear, you'll be free from emotional manipulation. There's nothing worse than being manipulated emotionally. It's a terrible feeling, and it can really damage your relationship with the person who's doing it to you. If you suspect that someone is manipulating you emotionally, the best thing you can do is talk to them about it. Make it clear that you're not going to tolerate being manipulated. Another way to avoid emotional manipulation from women is by staying calm and rational when you start seeing those signs I mentioned earlier. If you're able to identify these tactics being used against you, it's easier to maintain a level head. It can be difficult to stay calm when a woman is using emotional manipulation against you, but it's important to remember that giving in will only make the situation worse. Stay strong and don't let them control you with their words. Also, don't let their emotions dictate yours. Stand up for yourself assertively but respectfully. Remember that you have a right to say no. Don't give room for... I remember back then when I dated a manipulative woman, she would force me to go on a date with her girlfriends. This went on for weeks. Her friends would start bitching about men. I just couldn't stand them. But I followed her anyway because I loved her and didn't want her to leave me. Yet she threatened to leave me if I didn't go on a date with her and her girlfriends. A part of me wanted to say, "Get lost, I don't need you or your friends." The other half wanted to do what she wanted. When I finally got enough courage, I confronted her and told her that if she still wants us to be together, she'd have to stop seeing her girlfriends. I was being assertive. I was in control of the situation at that moment, and I didn't give her enough room to manipulate me. To cut the long story short, she didn't give a damn about what I said and still went for the Friday nights out with her girlfriends. I left the relationship. It was painful, but man's gotta do what man's gotta do. Am I right? And finally, don't forget about self-care. Dealing with manipulative women can be emotionally draining, so make sure to take care of yourself both physically and mentally. Self-care is important for everyone, but it's especially crucial if you find yourself dealing with manipulative women on a regular basis. It can be emotionally draining to constantly be second-guessing yourself and trying to keep up with them.